Hello and welcome! My name is Marina and this is Evening Makes. Here I sew and knit my own clothes, looking to make my dream wardrobe one piece at a time, and usually in the evenings. So this is my second knitting podcast and I would like to talk a little about what I made and what I'm doing and what are my plans for next. I will start by what I'm wearing, which is my recent finished object. I talk about this on my fall knitting plans. This is the Aros sweater by PetiteKnit. This is a saddle shoulder continuous construction, so to simplify the terms, is constructed like a raglan sweater that has those lines here, but it has this very nice construction with the shoulders like this. The increase is located here and then continuing this way, and this makes the stripes being more continuous around the sweater, which is something that I like a lot, and I think it gives a very nice finished result to the sweater. I choose the colors in somehow based on the sample pictures, especially for the dress version from PetiteKnit. And I also check on Pinterest for some inspirations in relation to color palettes. I wanted to have two shades that I was very comfortable wearing and two shades that I'm not very comfortable wearing, and one neutral shade to harmonize everything. My neutral shade is this beige color, and the colors that I'm more comfortable wearing is this dark blue and the lavender, and this cold yellow and the orange are colors that I don't wear that much, but I'm always open to try new colors, so I found that this was a very nice. This is a more older pattern from PetiteKnit. It's from 2020, so I don't think it has that many sizes as her most recent patterns. I knit the smallest size in 4mm needles, and I use for this the Colonna Vita as the fingering weight yarn, and I use different mohairs in different colors. I talk about this also in my fall knitting plans if you want to see more details about the yarn. So for the blue, the cold yellow and the lavender, I use Ito Sensei, and for the orange I use the Zaga silk mohair, and for this the beige color I use a brushed alpaca from Camarosi. I think the name is Midnight Soul. I'm very glad with the final result. I think it blocked very nicely. I needed the sleeves a little smaller than what I want, and they reached the size that I was expecting to reach. Also with blocking, the neck got a little more softer and more comfortable to wear. I finalized this less than 2 weeks ago, and I wore 3 or 4 times. I'm not that sure, but I'm always navigating to this. The colors make me happy. The fabric is extremely comfortable. I'm very happy that I knit this. I would totally recommend this if you want to work with a striped sweater. And also, I would also recommend the construction overall. I think it's a very flattering construction, and I'm planning in the future to do this in a different color, maybe 2 color stripes. That's something that I think would be very nice with this. So in this episode, I don't have just one finished object, I have 2. I was not expecting to have 2 by the end of this time to film this next one, and I'm very happy that I finalized one that I was very in love with doing, which is the Ovis socks by the PetiteKnit. I just showed the Aros sweater by the PetiteKnit, and then there is the PetiteKnit. They have 2 completely different styles. The PetiteKnit, she does a lot of color work, and she uses mainly brown and beige colors on her works. I I follow her on Instagram, and I always look like, oh, those things are so beautiful and so nicely done. So I decided to try out the Ovis socks, which is just the cutest socks in the universe. Like, they are still a little moist. They are getting blocked as of right now. And they got a little bigger than I was expecting. But maybe it's just my intention. This was my first color work socks. And I like a lot. It was quite easy. I would recommend as a first color work project, because you need to reach the graph, of course, for the sheets, but this part here repeats all over the socks, so you can just read your last stitches or maybe even memorize. So it was quite nice to do. Also, for them having different colors, it avoids the second sock syndrome, which many of us with socks pass by. I pass by. This is my second pair of finished socks, like, ever. So I'm very glad that I have those. I decided to knit my Ovis socks with some yarn that I found on my local yarn shop. My local yarn shop, as I live in Germany, they carry mostly German yarn brands. So I bought long yarns Yellow for the fingering weight, and I bought the silk mohair from Lana Grosso as the mohair yarn. It has it is made holding fingering weight with mohair, so it gives a little of this fluffiness on the socks. I like the result. I like the long yarns Yellow. I think it works pretty well. The silk hair from Lana Grosso sometimes got a lot of tangle in comparison to other mohairs that I worked, like the ones for the Aros sweater. So, and it was also like very expensive mohair in comparison to like drop skilled silk that has, I would say, the same quality of the Lana Grosso. So I don't think the price pays itself, so I wouldn't recommend exactly this yarn. But other than that, I still didn't wear my socks, they still didn't finish vlogging, so I will let you give a photo review in relation to fitting on the next episode. And now, moving to what is my work in progress in this last times. Other than those two projects, I have been only working or start working in one, which is Casson, and new work in progress. This is my progress for now. This is a construction bottom up, so this is my the hand of my sweater, or is going to be the hand of my sweater. I'm starting to build the body up. So that's the Permafrost sweater by Witre design. I talk about this on my fall knitting plans. It is a sweater that I was envisioning to do for, I think, about a year now. And when I first was looking for yarn to do, they didn't have on the color and like the yarn that I want on the color that I want. And after a while I got distracted with other projects, with other yarns that I bought. So I didn't continue this project, or I didn't try to do this project. And now I went to online shopping for yarns, and I finally bought the yarn that I need. This is made with 2 strands of alpaca boucle and 1 strand of a fingering weight yarn. To work on the sweater, I'm working as the main yarn, the drops alpaca boucle, which has 80% alpaca, 15% wool, and 5% polyamide. It is extremely soft. I was a little like, asking myself, is it going to be soft because it seems a little like hairy like, but it is extremely soft. In relation to this, it's being very nice to touch and to work. And as my fingering weight yarn, I'm working with Drops Flower. My color for the Drops Flower is the color 22, and for Drops Alpaca Boucle, it's color 100, which is the like natural color. I don't know exactly how they call on the website, and I'm really enjoying this combination. I think they work very well. It produces something extremely soft. One thing that I have to say that is true about working with boucle yarn is that you cannot see your stitches. And while this might hide some mistakes that I might do in relation to my gauge, it can also, like, sometimes I can drop a stitch and not see, or need to do something and I don't exactly see. But overall, for now, I think it is going it's going pretty good. I'm very excited about this. I think we'll knit relatively fast because it's on 7mm needles, and the two projects that I was working before, the Aros sweater was on a 4mm needles, and the socks were I work mixing a 2.5 for the collar work part and a 2.25mm for the heel and the toes. So I think working on 7, it's going to make things move a little faster, and maybe I'll have this for like when it's time for a white Christmas wear here where I live, or post white Christmas in January, who knows. And I am very excited about this project. As I told you, it was like a dream project. When I first saw this, I was like, oh, this looks gorgeous. It has a kind of a mock neck, it has a little of a vintage style, and I think will be very versatile. So I'm super excited. So yes, this was my only projects for this period that I was working mostly. I have some like whole whips that I didn't work during the last 2 months, so I don't think I will show here and overflow. It's the focus is what I worked since my last episode. And yes, oh, I have another thing. I'm working on project bags. I made this one for me. It has otters on it. I also made 2 more as a gift. I also sew. I have some sewing videos here. So if you are also interested on this content, I talk about the project bags on my sewing fall plans. Now moving to what is usually like a last part of the video, or before last part, which are my plans. And my plans also come with acquisition. And so I have some next projects that I want to make. One of them is actually another Ovis socks. Those are very cute. And my husband saw them and he told that he wanted some for him too. So I bought the yarn to do those. I bought this time Drops North instead of the long yarn Diabo. I also wanted to try Drops North. I never tried before, so I thought this was a nice opportunity to try. And for the kids and for the mohair, I bought Drops Kid Silk. Also, another yarn that I bought was another Drops Kid Silk. I bought 3 balls of that. This is to make a Hella sleepover. This is from a pamphlet from Sandina's Garden. I talk also about this on my fall knitting plans. I think it is a very nice sleepover that has the ties on the side, and I bought some hand dye yarn from my friend Fan from the Magical Creators. I will link her here on the description if you want to check out. She made a collection fall inspired, and it had some bronze hand dye yarn, and I really fell in love with one called Tales of Tree. I still didn't receive them, but I bought this mohair to pair with it so I can do my Halloween sleepover. So those are the projects that I work on and the projects that I'm planning to work next. I think I will also add up another project to this thing, to my role of next projects, and this is going to be, which doesn't make sense by the seasons here in Germany, it's going to be a summer top. I have been working a lot with sweaters, and I'm going to travel to the end of the year to visit my family in Brazil. So I want to have a more summer project to knit while I'm there, because I believe it's going to be very warm, and also I can bring less yarn and work with smaller needles for the time that I'm there. And then I would not need to bring a lot of yarn like I would usually need with a full sweater. For this last period between my first knitting podcast and this one, those were the things that I was working. I post usually on my Instagram if you want to check out. I post more the progress step of each of my projects, so I try to post when I custom something new, or when I start to do the body, when I start doing a sleeve, when I block it. I try to always have those small checkup points on my projects. And if you want to check out more days, like, I will link my Instagram here. And additionally, I also sew a little. I learned how to sew in this year. Sewing is something that is very strong with my family, but I didn't learn this. And this year I decided to buy a sewing machine and try that. So I'm also doing some sewing videos. If you are interested in that, you can check here on this channel. I will try to keep somehow some content separate in relation to sewing and knitting, but so this won't be like a knitting sewing podcast, but you're always welcome to check both of them if you have interest. And also, if you are a knitter that wants to learn how to sew, you can come to me. I can reply any questions about how is my sewing machine, what projects I'm thinking are very nice to beginners, how to find patterns and fabrics, everything by my point of view as a beginner sewist. And also, additionally, if you are a sewist and you're watching this here because you're interested on starting knitting, I'm always open to reply to any of your questions. And so I think that's it for this episode. And I would like to thank you very much for staying till here, and I see you in the next one. Bye!